All right, Greg Miller, SFAVolleyBlog.net, here with Hugh Hernesman. The end of a long day, first day here, and Northwestern State punches their ticket to the second round and face-off with our Lady Jacks. First of all, Hugh, that was kind of an odd match in that a lot of attack errors by Sam Houston. In your mind, as you kind of process things, how much of that is defense? How much of that is just Sam Houston knocking the ball around?
Well, I think early we blocked them a couple times hard. And I think that sometimes that will change the thought process of attackers. I think a couple blocks there, a couple defensive plays. And, we took them out of system early, too. And so that changes some of their shot selection, some of their ability to, pick some of the shots that they're used to. But, yeah, I don't know. It was a lot of errors on their part. And we talked about that, in the intermission is that, there was a lot of out-of-system errors, a lot of unforced types of things that this is a team that generally – plays well out of system and doesn't err a lot. So I think we caught a couple, breaking those first couple sets, but, it's happened to us before too, and nobody gave those sets back.
We've talked several times this year about y'all's game plan defense. You don't want to necessarily, you'll take hitting 240, but I mean, if you hit 170 and hold your opponent to 120, but certainly part of your game plan wasn't to hold Sam Houston in negative 026. So talk a little bit about, again, just sort of the whole idea of Northwestern volleyball here tonight in terms of defense playing a very big part of the win.
Yeah, I think the way we play isn't always pretty, but it's pretty effective. I think, for us to kind of maybe go into that match thinking that we might be able to hold them to that kind of a number, I really believe that the first two times we played them, that we had the right game plan. We didn't change and tinker a lot with what we did with our scheme. We kept with what we were doing. We believed in it. We just didn't feel like we executed it very well. The first time we played them, we didn't execute it at all, and they just went off on us. Second time we executed it pretty well, but we just didn't play well offensively. So, it took us 3 chances, but, we finally put the 2 together, I guess.
One another thing we've talked about at various times is that you guys tend to have a balanced offense. And, I think it's one thing when a team has a balanced offense and they have one setter, but running 2 setters and staying that balanced. Again, tonight, nobody in double figures for kills, but Katie had 8 and Mackenzie had 6 and Stacy and Glenna had 5. And so what do you think in terms about balanced offense and the difference between a 2-setter offense and a 1-setter offense in terms of the challenges that presents?
I think for us, it works best for us because we don't have middles that get behind the setter very well off of 1 foot. So I think that's why it works for us. It always gives us a consistent right side threat, and I think the right sides that we put over there are people that you need to account for. I think that's what makes it effective for us. But, you watch SFA, and they run it behind really, really well. And so it works for them, and Paige is real good offensively. So it's not like they are losing another attacker. It's just they attack in different ways. So, there's no perfect script to any of this. But I think for us and our personnel, and we realize this, at the beginning of last year, is that we're a 6-2 team right now. Until our personnel maybe changes a little bit, that's kind of where we're going to be.
In terms of momentum in all of those sets, I felt like that Sam Houston played pretty much even with you in the first part of each set, but then at the middle part, you were able to sort of get out ahead. Did you kind of feel like there in the third set that once you kind of got it even at 14, 16, that, hey, here we go again, here's our shot, we're going to push out in front and go ahead and finish this off in 3?
Yeah, it felt familiar. It's kind of it's a script that we've written before, where we'll get down 3, we'll get down 5, we'll get down 6 in the middle of that set, and we'll make a run. Well, it's in back-to-back serving rotations. We make those runs, we get it even, and at that point, momentum flips so much that's really difficult to sometimes overcome that. And in the past, I would say that 2-3 years ago, we would have that run, we'd even it up, and then we'd be out of gas. And now we understand how to play that way and how to keep, I guess, our foot on the pedal, so to speak. So that's what I see from our team the last couple of years, is that we've really matured in those situations, is we don't relax and say, okay, we're fine now. Now we can just go back to what we were doing because that wasn't working. So it's a maturity thing, I think, for us.
Andrew Pate, who's just off camera with us, is just talking to Natalie Jaeger a little bit, and I think when I think about your 2 setters, Emily's been with you all these years. She's the senior, and Natalie's kind of the young one. And one thing that gets overlooked, I think, with her is her serving efficiency. And she had 12 digs tonight. So I talked to you about EJ before, but talk a little bit about Jaeger's contributions outside of setting, but also on defense and serving.
Yeah, we give kind of an unsung award after every match, and we kind of call it the chip on the shoulder type of thing. And Natalie got that today. The 12 digs, we knew that we had to give up some things to gain some things as a blocking team, and we really had to concentrate on Dev. Everybody does. So we knew that was going to free up some of their slide hitting. And I thought that Natalie did a great job of playing defense the way she normally does and taking care of the opportunities that she got. But yeah, she's a really smart kid, 30-some ACT, and she's a bright kid, and she gets it, and she understands matchups, and I think that Natalie is a lot like EJ. Is just really an unsung player, and from what we're doing here, something that doesn't get a lot of recognition. So it's good to see her kind of shine a little bit today.
All right, Northwestern State co-head coach Hugh Hernesman will face off with Lady Jacks tomorrow, 1:30. First match tomorrow is at 11 o'clock. That'll feature Corpus Christi, who had a thrilling 5-set victory over HBU, taking on UCA. Then Jacks will square off with the Demons to see who goes to the championship on Sunday. Thanks, as always, Hughes, for talking to us.
All right, thanks, Craig.